Okay, this time last weekend I said these markets were still bullish and I would still stand by that. This is the S&P 500, daily on the right, weekly on the left. This is a very, very bullish market, and it's romping away. So it's just a question of you have to trade what you see. Don't trade the news. Trade what you see. And this on Wednesday, this S&P closed above 1775, and then we closed the week on 1800. We look at the Dow. Dow is the same. That's right up to the 12. It's close to the 127 extension now. Almost kissed it. This is a very, very bullish market. It's led by, if I can just find it, the Nikkei. This is the Nikkei just tearing away. So consequently, we've got a very weak yen. The dollar has weakened as these indices have powered up at the back end of last week, and some stocks are flying. I mean, if you are not trading stocks, then your portfolio is missing out, because this is, before we go into forex, let's just look at some of these stocks. And I'm thinking of this one. This is BP. We talked about BP down here, and we're now close to 50 mark. If we look at stocks like ABF, who own Primark, I mean, this is just powered away this year. What do I say this year? I mean, since October. Some of these moves are, we've had 1885 in September, and now we're 23.35. And if you're not in some of these stocks, then you are seriously missing out. Let's just look at one of my UK stocks. This is one of my favourite US stocks. This is Baidu. This is the Japanese Google. We're at 150 not so long ago. We're 162.33. Let's look at Qualcomm. I can just find Qualcomm. Qualcomm is on a tear. I got in down some of these levels down here, 66.70 area, we're now 72.17. Now these are fantastic stocks, and they are moving well. If you're not spread, if you're not spreading your money across different asset classes, then you are missing out. Alright, so I'll come back to that another time, but in the meantime, let's get on with forex, and let's go straight to the Aussie US dollar. Dollar is weakening on these markets powering away. This weekly chart has a hammer on a massive trend line. This is the trend line coming through. Let's just see how good this trend line is. So there we are. It doesn't matter that you can't see the real detail on this. All I want to show you is the points of this area here. 2001, 2002, we came down here. Once we'd finished this W pattern, one of my favourite patterns, this area here became key, this area here became key. We dipped below here, and now we are just holding this trend line here. So we could, if we can really get motoring, see something come out of this. There's an apex. I think we're going to switch around with this apex. In the meantime, I'm buying the lows to, at the very least, to take it to the top of the apex. That's right. Now I'll show you some more detail. So weekly we have a hammer, very narrow range on the daily, but I am going to buy 93.20 area. We're 93.70 at the moment, with a stop underneath these lows here to see if we can make our way back to parity. So I'm looking for something like 600 plus points, and if we start closing down here, then I will get out and I would stay out. But I think we will. A hammer like this, it normally drifts lower, and then hopefully Tuesday, Wednesday, we should see that push to the upside, if that's going to work. The yen pairs, let's just go right into the yen pairs. They're all looking good. Start with the euro yen. Fantastic move off this major support, 131.60 area here. So I would wait patiently for a pullback to 134. If you don't get it, it's 120 points under here. If you don't get it, stay away, because there are other options. There's the pound yen, which has been, the pound is obviously very, very popular at the moment. 160 is a pullback on that. That's 150 points pulling back. Again, you may not get a pullback. We are high RSI, high stochastics here, but you may not get a drop like that. If you do, I will be a buyer. And let me see, the other one I like is US dollar yen. US dollar yen hit parity on options expiry and sat just narrowly above parity. I would love to get a pullback to at least 99. 99.50 is more realistic, but I think what we've got here is this. I think we've got a really decent pattern going on here. You can see the fibs. We've come in we're above the 61.8. So it's that pullback to Wednesday's open, which is Tuesday's close, to see if we can come back to that and then break up to 104, possibly 105. So if we get a full pullback to, let me draw this properly. So a full pullback to that trend line does take us back to 99.50. So what I'm looking for is, we've had a burst up this trend line. I'm looking for it to pull back and then accelerate to 104, 105. Okay, so this pattern here is one of my 4 key patterns that I look for. So I don't want to get in high. I want to buy a pullback and to that support, and I want to see if that can go. Dollar pairs. Let's have a look at pound US. A lovely move on the Friday. So we've got 2 weeks of buying, and we are back into this area here. So we are still inside of this box. There's the low of the box, there's the high of the box. Actually, the main part of the box is here. This was just a couple of dips above the box. But this support level here held pretty firmly. Again, I would like to see 160 to see if we can come back and then finally break through here. Another nudge of this resistance, I'm hoping will get broken. We may sort of bump into that, pull back, and then go. But the downside, the risk with this chart pattern here is that we are knocking against a lot of resistance. But you can see on this weekly chart here, we've got a trend line that comes up from this low here to this low here. Actually, let me redraw that because I don't like that. So on this weekly chart, you can see with this pound, we are in this apex. The highs up here from March 2011, the high in September last year, and then obviously coming up from the lows, you have this W pattern here, taking us into this level. We've pulled back. This support has held. Now we're drifting up. So that we may not see 160. At 160.50 may be the only pullback we're going to get, because 160 would mean dragging it right down to that level there. Okay, but I think we're going to flap around here, and this pound is very strong. And 165, I think, at least break above the 2013 highs is what I'm looking for, or at least a retest of 2013 highs. But let's just see what happens. So based on that, I would want to look for a position in gold. This is where we are at the moment. So we've come off of this support. So we've had some dips down here. but I'm looking for this to. We're coming up now. We've got a hammer on the weekly. If we can just take a little bit of a dive and then hold, I think we can at least get up to 1400. So I would be a buyer down here. I'm going to be patient and look for this to retest. I'd like to see 1280 again. If that holds, then I will hold that and then see if I can manage my stop and get into the higher levels. The lot of commodities are not that great. This is corn. So we're seeing a weakness in the corn, and we are seeing a weakness in the beans. And a nice run up, and suddenly, that's had a severe drop on Friday. Obviously, heating oil, we're getting colder, and the heating oil is running up. That's a buy at 29.10. Like I said, crude is still not doing it. It's a lower close on the week. So we're in a box here. If we start closing above 94 and can hold 95, then I would look to retest 99. But in the meantime, sit tight. We are divergent RSI, low stochastics. The stochastics is turning. As we get the new contract coming in, where are we? New contract starts, I think, middle of this week. So I think once the January contract kicks in, December closes, I think that will start to pick up. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and I will do a stock scan on Monday and share that with you at the Traders Round Table. Alright, so relatively short video for the weekend here. And before I go, let me just look at entries in the indices. Wow. At this rate, we're going to be, just not pulling back at the moment. I mean, look at this run up here. Once that took off, we got one red bar in there. I wouldn't mind betting that was a Sunday. We're going to be lucky to get a pullback to 15,900, 15,800. Yeah, we are high RSI here. We come up on decent volume, so you may have to buy high here, but wait till Monday's out of the way and let's see. But I'm definitely interested. I think there's some really good forex charts out there, and I will be focusing on the Aussie US. The Aussie US is my main dollar pair, and then the US dollar yen and the pound yen on the other pairs. Right? I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and see you then.